In April 2023, for the first time in 73 years, the title of the world's most populated country shifted as India's population surpassed China's. With 1.43 billion people, 17.6% of the global population, this vast and diverse nation is home to some of the most breathtaking landscapes and cultures on the earth. From the towering peaks of Himalayas to arid deserts, the wettest cities, lush rainforests, and tropical Iceland, India is a land of endless stories. So, in this video, we will explore these tales by traveling through 5 distinct regions. Before we dive in, a quick note: mapping India's northern borders is tricky due to historical and political complexities, and it's impossible to align with everyone's perspective. I will do my best to use maps that reflect each country's administered planes. Though some third-party maps may differ, keep in mind these maps are purely tools to help us explore India's geography. They are not a statement of political opinion. Any perceived bias is unintentional. So now we have cleared this thing up. Let's get started. So let's explore the tallest mountain range in the world, the Himalayas, which separates India from the rest of Asia. While Central Asia is home to broad, continuous mountain systems stretching from Uzbekistan to China's Henan province, the Himalayas form a narrow yet towering strip between Nanga Parvat and Namcha Barwa. India administers the largest portion of this range, covering 6 states: Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Ladakh, and Jammu Kashmir. The Himalayas, along with the neighboring ranges like the Hindu Kush and the Arakan Mountains, were formed 10 million years ago when the Indian tectonic plate collided with Eurasian plate. This powerful collision created the tallest mountain on the earth, the only place with peaks soaring above 8,000 meters, around 26,000 feet. Among these 13 giants is Kanchenjunga in Sikkim, standing at 8,586 meters and ranking as the 3rd highest mountain in the world. Interestingly, it was once mistakenly thought to be the tallest and remains technically unclimbed even today, making the tallest unclimbed mountain in the world. In 1955, a British expedition made its historic attempt to summit Kanchenjunga but honored a promise to the monarch of Sikkim to preserve the mountain's sanctity. They stopped just a few meters below the peak, leaving it untouched for eternity. This revered mountain lies within the Great Himalayas, a majestic belt where most peaks soar over 5,000 meters. Stretching southward are the Lesser and the Outer Himalayas, with peaks gradually decreasing its height. The Lesser Himalayas are deeply carved by gorges created by glacial meltwater. These gorges continue into the Outer Himalayas where they erode rolling hills and carry sedimentation downstream, leading us to our next region, the Indo-Gangetic plains. The vast plains of North India, East Pakistan, and nearly all of the Bangladesh owe their existence to the meltwater rushing down from Himalayan glaciers. This water feeds 2 major drainage basins, the Brahmaputra and the Ganga rivers in the central and eastern regions, and the Indus River in the west. Over time, these rivers have deposited fertile sediments known as alluvium along their banks, making the plains one of the most agriculturally productive regions in the world, comparable to Nile Delta or the Ukrainian plain. This fertile land has sustained civilizations for millennia, including the Indus Valley civilization, which flourished over 4,500 years ago, predating Rome and even the unification of the Egypt by the first pharaoh. Today, this fertility supports over 500 million people living within the 3 rivers watersheds. Many of the India's largest cities, including those along with the Ganga, thrive in this region. But the region's agriculture doesn't solely rely on the river water. Annual summer monsoons also bring much needed rainfall, particularly to the eastern plains. While this rainfall is crucial for the farming and reduces irrigation needs, it comes with a cost. The monsoon often trigger devastating floods, causing billions in damage to infrastructure, home and farmland. In Meghalaya, in the eastern corner of India, monsoons reach their peak. The city of Mawsyngram, recognized as the rainiest place on earth, receives a staggering 12,400 mm of rainfall annually, compared to the UK's United Kingdom's modest 800 to 400 millimeters. However, as you travel west along the Ganga, rainfall decreases and the climate gradually transitions from subtropical to semi-arid, eventually leading to India's driest region, the Thar Desert. Thar Desert, surrounded by the Indian River Plains, Punjab Plains, and the Aravalli Hills, the Thar Desert is India's only arid, dry landscape and one of the most fascinating deserts in the world. Its dry conditions result from global wind patterns, specifically trade winds and high pressure zones, which divert annual monsoons eastward, leaving some areas with as little as 100 millimeters of rainfall annually. Loose sand from nearby Indus River plains cover most of the desert, forming ever-shifting dunes that are constantly reshaped by the persistent winds. Despite these harsh conditions, the Thar is the most populated desert in the world, with home to around 27 million people. Its bare rock exposes valuable resources like phosphorus, gypsum, and other materials essential for agriculture and construction. In the mid 20th century, an extensive canal network, including the Indira Gandhi Canal, formerly known as Rajasthan Canal, transformed the desert into arable land. This canal system redirects water from Punjab's river across 450 kilometers, irrigating a 6,700 square kilometer area comparable in the size of the US states of Delaware. Agriculture now thrives here, with water distributed through a 9,245 kilometer network of canals. However, the desert's expansion threatens fertile lands. To combat this, windbreaks of shrubs and trees are strategically planted to halt migrating dunes, and large-scale afforestation projects aim to green the desert. Interestingly, nature itself may lend a hand. Rising temperatures in the equatorial Indian Ocean, linked to global warming, are shifting the monsoon corridor westward, bringing increased rainfall closer to Rajasthan and the Thar. The shift could gradually transform parts of the deserts into greener landscapes. Leaving behind the Thar's dunes, the land rises once more as we journey to our fourth destination, the Indian Peninsula. The peninsula, extending into the Indian Ocean, represents the oldest and the most stable part of Indian continental shelf. Its rock formation dates back to the ancient supercontinent Gondwana, making it the only region in India where dinosaur fossils has been discovered. Geographically, the peninsula is defined by two main features: the medium mountain ranges of eastern and western Ghats, and secondly, the vast Deccan Plateau nestled between them. The Deccan, while lacking strict geographical boundaries, is typically recognized as the region south of the Narmada River, which marks the first major river that does not drain into the Indo-Gangetic plains. The Western Ghats, the highest point of peninsula, create a gradual eastward slope across the Deccan Plateau. This topography channels nearby all rivers of the region, including the Godavari and the Krishna, India's second and the third longest rivers, towards the Bay of Bengal. Both rivers are considered sacred in Hinduism and drain nearly 20% of India's total area. However, their discharge volumes are surprisingly low, largely because the Western Ghats act as a rain shield, limiting rainfall over the plateau and creating a tropical but semi-arid climate. On the western sides of the Ghats, monsoon unleash their full power. Cities like Goa, Mumbai and Kochi receives 2000 to 3000 millimeters of the rainfall annually, while the rain-shadowed Deccan averages just 500 millimeters. With the four main regions of the India's mainland explored, we now turn to one often overlooked region, that is India's islands. These union territories, administered directly by the federal government, are scattered across the Indian Ocean to the west and the east, offering climates as lush and rainy as the metropolises of the Western Ghats. India administers two remote archipelagos of its shores, the Lakshadweep Islands, located about 200 kilometers into the Arabian Sea, and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, approximately 1200 kilometers into the Blue Bengal. These tropical islands present a striking contrast to the mainland. The Lakshadweep Islands, resembling the Maldives, are coral atolls with pristine lagoons and white sandy beaches. Meanwhile, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, with their lush, dense forest, appear as an extension of Indonesia's Sumatra Island. Among them, North Sentinel Island regularly captures global attention for its uncontacted Sentinelese tribe. Fiercely protective of their isolation, the Sentinelese are known to attack outsiders. Since the islands joined India in 1956, a strict law prohibits travel to North Sentinel, and the Indian Coast Guard ensures the tribe's seclusion. Further east in its volcano archipelago lies Barren Island, home to India's only active volcano. Unlike the volcanic plateaus of the Andaman group that support a sizable population, Lakshadweep's coral origins provide only thin lagoons for habitation. As a result, Lakshadweep is India's smallest and least populated territory, yet its untouched beaches are among the most beautiful in the world. However, tourism here remains limited due to strict access restrictions, requiring permits from the mainland, with some islands entirely off limits to foreign visitors. These stunning islands complete our journey across India, a country that truly live up to its title as the one of the most diverse in the world. From the towering Himalayan peaks to sacred river deltas, the vast Thar Desert and the Deccan Plateau jutting into the Indian Ocean, India offers something for everyone. If you enjoyed this deep dive into India's landscape, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe for more explorations. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.